theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we are initiated.
I'm super excited!
So then I had another friend reach out who's in Maui and was telling me that the victims are being told by their insurance companies that their properties that burned were actually violating city code and will not be rebuilt. So an act of war, an act of nature, whatever it may be that took place in this area, is now violating city code, and their insurance company is deciding not to cover it. Interesting that they were able to obtain an insurance policy to begin with if it was not within the city code. So then what is the point of insurance? If insurance is there to cover you in case an accident or something occurs, then what would be the point of having it if it doesn't cover you if that accident or incident occurs? These are questions we have to ask about this whole scenario and the entire thing in which is happening.
Listen to me carefully. Is being given a special package, and I don't want you to open it. Do not open it. Cameras are on you, so do not open until I tell you. All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3. You get a call. 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 You get a call.
The devastation to the island of Maui is unimaginable. But what's more unimaginable is what happens now. But don't worry, the billionaires have you covered because coincidentally, for no reason at all, right before this happened, they had a conference speaking about how they could turn Maui into the sustainable city of the future, totally powered by renewable energy and off the grid. A lot of people are proposing that this is just the first step, a small-scale test of what they want to do. Some people are claiming that this was intentional, and even if it wasn't, it will be used as an opportunity. As a side note, if you've wondered what your neighborhood would look like after a nuke went off nearby, yeah, this is it. You know why it looks so similar to a massive raging fire? Because that's what most of the damage of the nuke is. There's a shock wave, but then the fires, they spread and spread and spread and burn up everything. And it would look just like this, so you have that for reference. You're going to need that here soon. But thanks to this massive wildfire, accidentally, coincidentally, some of the most valuable land in the world is now yours for the taking for development if you got enough money. But also another question is, how many of these at a time can we handle before we can't be rebuilding everything all the time? A lot of people said that there's no reason to think the apocalypse is coming. Well, for the people of Maui, it's already here. But I think there's a beautiful dystopian future in store for the island, so it's not over yet. So if you're rich, good for you, I guess. But too bad for the rest of us.
I'm Raylene and located in Maui. I live in Kihei and I wanted to share some local updates. Shocking, or maybe not. Did you hear about the fires? Did you hear that the government of Hawaii states their goal is to rebuild and make the entire island of Maui the first smart island? They want the entire island governed by AI, as outlined in the Hawaii Digital Government Summit of 2023, that they plan to host next month on September 25th, 2023 on Maui. Wow! Now they're going to come to the rescue for this horrible problem. And last January in 2023, there was a Smart City Conference in Maui to turn Maui, again, into the Smart City Island, pushing everything electric, making 15-minute smart cities. And there was also a contract last year to build a high-rise condo complex and businesses in Lahaina, which was a historic town that couldn't have any new development in this area. But now it's demolished. So now I guess they have to rebuild, right? We spent the morning trying to find places to volunteer to help. We feel helpless. There's so much going on. There's people who need assistance. We went to the War Memorial Shelter, which we learned has been taken over by FEMA. They've taken a whole bunch of supplies. People do not know where they're going. They don't trust that they're actually going to be delivered to people in need. In past FEMA situations, after disasters, they found containers full of supplies that were never given to the people. And if you go to the War Memorial, people are being told to go there if you need assistance. They are turning everyone away, saying that it's not a distribution center. It's a shelter, and unless you're checked into this shelter, you will receive nothing. And I will say for donations on the island, please be considerate of your fellow humans, because there's a lot of moms that need diapers and wipes and formula, and everything has been purchased and given as donations, and now it is being hoarded by Red Cross and FEMA, not being distributed to those who actually need them. So ship things in from Amazon. I shared today that you could ship things to the Maui Food Bank. There's some other local organizations that will actually get your items to the people. And FEMA is also making people sign paperwork just to receive assistance. We did find through local word of mouth a place where we could donate our time today, and we assisted the Hungry Heroes of Hawaii at Buzz's Wharf in Ma'alia, if I said that right. Great place. If you need donations or if you have some to drop off, you can. It's a staging area right before the road is shut down to get into the Lahaina area. They were not allowing anyone through unless you had, if you had a supply truck full of supplies to help the people in these areas, you were not allowed through unless you had a specific contract or permission from a certain agency to come through. And where would you get that permission from? So lots of people are being denied. They're trying to come in with supply trucks to assist. This Hungry Heroes, they were able to get some trucks in yesterday. They were supposed to meet with the mayor and officials. They said they waited around for 5 hours being told to move to different locations, and then they were eventually kicked out and said, why are you even here? And they were trying to coordinate to drop off and deliver supplies. And they can get to the supplies, but there's nowhere to drop them off or give them to anybody because everything is so disorganized. They also brought 150 meals, cooked meals, to help the people who need them. And they were denied because it was not cooked in a commercial kitchen. So not being allowed to distribute. All the roads in and out of Lahaina are blocked except for specific personnel, and it's up in the air. We don't know anymore. Maybe if you're a resident with an ID. That was open yesterday, and they supposedly shut it back down after a few hours because people were trying to take photos of the damage that happened in Lahaina. Heaven forbid that they go to their houses and do anything. There is a looting going on, and not just in the Lahaina area, also in Kula. There are boats making supply runs. Some of them are saying that they've had to push through barricades to get in and deliver supplies.
Okay guys, it's Friday, August 11th, 2023, and I'm walking around Lahaina a couple days after this catastrophic fire, and you can see there's X's in front of hundreds of houses here, hundreds or thousands of cars. I don't know what the count is. I don't know what's going on here any more than what I see, because we can't get on the internet and we don't have any power. But I believe those X's mean they've searched for bodies. And this fire was so hot that all of the wheels of the cars have melted. All the aluminum has melted. You can see it just like water. It ran down the gutters in places where there's just molten aluminum everywhere. So I don't know how hot a fire has to get to do that, because I can't search for anything on the internet, but let me know in the comments. And you know, one other thing I'll say is, I think on one of the neighborhoods I was walking through yesterday, I commented that it smelled like a fireworks show, and you know, just more intense. But that is not what it smells like here. Here it smells like death. It smells like dead bodies is what it smells like. I mean, it's unimaginable. I mean, anyone who's ever smelled a rotting animal carcass, that is what it smells like when I'm walking around here. And you know, it's like this for miles, and I don't know what it looks like if an atomic bomb hits a city, but I couldn't imagine anything being much worse than this. I mean, the devastation here. This was a fully functioning neighborhood. This was like a normal you know, kids playing basketball in the street like normal place 3 days ago, something like that. So
I had to cut the video off here because up ahead there are a lot of dead animal bodies, which is a pretty horrific scene. I don't know if that's the type of stuff I can even show on TikTok. I can't look it up at the moment. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments your thoughts on that, and I can edit the rest of the footage when we get power back.
Survivors of the Maui fire say that they received no warning and that the flames appeared so quickly that escape was difficult. Everything was suddenly in flames, and many found refuge in the ocean for hours while their homes burned to the ground and into the same powdery ash footprint we've seen in recent years. So far, it is estimated that nearly 1,000 people have died. Locals are worried this includes hundreds of children who were home due to school being canceled that day. Several people are reporting that the government is not only doing little to help, but they are blocking local efforts to do so and are not allowing local donations through, and that they are blocking life-saving medicine because it isn't federally approved.
Denying people access to bring in supplies, just supplies for people to live.
The government withholding every single one of our donations because we are not a part of FEMA and Red Cross. So none of this is eligible for giving out. Tell me why? I have no freaking clue.
The people of Maui are on their own for now. And aside from the federal government's bureaucratic failure, they have good reason to be suspicious. Just like what we saw 5 years ago in Paradise, California, there was nothing normal about these fires. Within a day of burning, it was like a bomb went off.
When you see the full extent of the destruction of Lahaina, it will shock you. It does appear like a bomb and fire went off, if I may. And all of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina.
Local residents have been reporting bright flashes of light. One was captured by a home security camera that appears to have been the start of the Olinda fire. Many people are saying that it was directed energy weapons. We know that most major governments already have them, and during the California fires, online weather maps recorded what looks like a laser from above, striking an area just before it bursts into flames. In his research, Dennis Mills discovered that the incendiary aluminum and barium nanodust from chemtrails is most likely fueling the ferocity of today's so-called super wildfires. And on the day before the Maui fires broke out, locals were reporting a heavy overcast from chemtrailing that they'd never seen before.
Once you dig deep enough, you realize they actually used to use forest fire smoke to induce rain, which makes a really weird coincidence of all of the Canadian wildfire smoke that just happened to randomly all start on fire at the same time, go over to New York and Vermont area, and then flood both of those areas soon after. Very strange. You need to see the new documentary, Chem or Con. It'll absolutely blow your mind. Watch this ASAP. Don't forget about that whistleblower that came out on the Sean Ryan podcast saying that there's an array in Alaska that is literally the largest array out. A direct energy weapon that's multi-platform weapon. It can do multi-things, whether it's voice the skull apparently or more. You need to absolutely check these things out, and like I said, you have to see the documentary, Chem or Con. It's very relevant. It absolutely, beyond a reasonable doubt, proves contrails are not chemtrails, and it proves chemtrails exist. Stratospheric aerosol injections. Watch it. It all ties into this, and it proves that wildfires can absolutely cause rain. And the direct energy weapons interface with those 100%. Go to thedisclosurehub.com/SAI.
It's also interesting to note that the Maui police chief was the incident commander for the Las Vegas mass shooting in 2017. Lahaina is considered to be a historic and sacred land. It was the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii before it was taken by the United States. It's been occupied by native Hawaiians ever since, who are defiantly opposed to the mainland outsiders who have been buying up land with no respect for local culture. Not just BlackRock and Vanguard, but billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, who owns more land on Kauai than what the government of Kauai owns, and Oprah Winfrey, who has bought over 1,000 acres of land in Hawaii, including a new 870 acres in Maui she just bought this spring. In 2018, the Paradise wildfires broke out exactly where the United Nations have plans to somehow make off-limits to humans. And that same year, a report on wildfire prevention was published that was focused on the exact same areas in Maui where the fires just broke out.
All the historic downtown, all of it is demolished and all the houses gone. But those commercial big box stores are still there.
Hawaii Governor Josh Green has been putting the World Economic Forum's Great Reset agenda ahead of Hawaiian interests. Just weeks before the fire, he unveiled an emergency proclamation on housing that eliminates the traditional Land Use Commission, allowing the government more leeway to build as they see fit, such as building 15-minute smart cities run by artificial intelligence, just like they've been planning to do in Hawaii for years.
At some point, I will make a major donation after all of the smoke and ashes have settled here and we figure out what the rebuilding is going to look like. This is going to be a long and difficult process. You're going to see a lot of Phoenix stories rising from the ashes here.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.